All right. Happy Wednesday morning. You got your,
Rainy, cold Wednesday morning. Yep.
I know, I'm on, I think this would count as cup 2 and 3 of coffee so far today. So I'm trying to stay warm, big hoodie, nice and soft on the inside.
Right.
All right. Do you have any fancy new topics maybe to ask or to answer
Well,
people?
seeing that this is Halloween week, all right, and um, today's Wednesday, tomorrow, which is Thursday. For those of you that remember when I was on with Trapper all the time on WDOK, I will be on the radio tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock taking calls. But before that, there's something called Go News, Go News, that starts at 4:30 in the morning on
Mm,
Channel 3, and we've taped a piece for that. So I can assure you I won't be up watching it, but it'll be there if that's something you want to see. And then I did a house in Akron that was involved a little girl.
mm,
Pretty disturbing. And so the whole crew, everything, we went out social. It's very hard to be masked and do a show and social distance at the same time. But we did it. Took a couple of hours to do, uh, down to like 7 minutes. But that's going to air at noon on that show on Channel 3. So that sort of will finish off Halloween. So that's good. Put it in, we're done for the year for Halloween, so that's good.
So all of this is airing tomorrow.
Starting tomorrow, 2 things, Friday, 1 thing, and then that's it for this year. As far as I know, anyway.
Okay.
And thank goodness the full moon is gone on Saturday. That's the last full moon this month, so that's good. Mercury retrograde is over on Wednesday.
The third
God,
week.
that's over. Yeah. So I think starting in November, everybody should have a nice clean slate and be nice and calm. That's my wish. So,
Yay.
right.
It'd be nice for things to kind of hit a nice, even, smooth.
People think because it's Halloween that this goes on all, oh, it's terrible in October. It's not. This goes on all year long, but I think people like to be scared. And it's a fun thing to do. Let's go through a haunted house, let's go through a haunted car wash, let's go through a haunted prison. Sure, why not? But that stuff goes on all year long, not just at Halloween. I have to admit, this month was worse with the 2 full moons, and um, and like I said, the Mercury retrograde didn't help. And now something just popped in my head. I'd have to check, but I'm almost betting there's an eclipse next month.
Oh, maybe.
I'm almost betting there is.
Do you,
Probably on let me think about that. I bet you on the new moon. I bet
okay.
it's a solar eclipse. So we'll get a little bit of a disturbance next month too, but nothing like this month.
Yeah, penumbral. Is that how you say it? Penumbral lunar eclipse on November 29th through the 30th of 2020.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, it's a lunar eclipse. I thought it was okay. I just vaguely remember being an eclipse someplace. There's not one before that
No,
on
but
the new moon?
there's a solar eclipse on December 14th, but we won't see it. Like South America and South Africa will get the
It doesn't make any difference if we can see it or not. We're still going to get the effects of it.
but yeah,
So,
the lunar eclipse, November 29th/30th, so that night.
okay, yeah. Well, that's okay. At least it'll all be over before Christmas. That's good. If anybody's doing anything this year, who knows?
Well, DeWine put out the whole cancel everything, don't go to parties,
It's so hard. People, they're tired of this. They're truly tired of this. But I have to tell you, the ghosts are loving it. They're getting so much energy from everybody stressed out and not working and being stuck in the house. And being told one thing and trying to do one thing. And so the ghosts are loving this because of all the energy that we're all putting out.
And I have to wonder then, it's maybe like a perpetual, like, them loving it, draining our energy, kind of weakening the body. So then you're more susceptible
To
to,
it.
you know,
Exactly right.
cold, the flu season that's not COVID that we're going into.
Right. It's like a vicious circle. One feeds the other one. So yeah, you're 100% correct. And I don't know. I know everybody's saying this year has to be over. You know, we have to be done with 2020. But
The rules for January 1st doesn't mean everything stops.
no, unfortunately, they're not being real. I don't think anybody's doing cheers about 2021 yet. Not yet. So
No, I'm looking to 2022. I'm hoping by then.
there'll be a vaccine that somebody else has tested and that it works. No, I'm not going to be the first one. Sorry.
I am pro science, pro vaccine, but you're not coming at me near that right off the bat.
Mm-hmm. No. I have to see. So,
To test this.
right.
So our first question is from Katie. She asked, do you ever see spirits in your mind's eye, like your third eye, or do you always see them like real people? She can see them in her third eye, so she was just curious.
No, Katie, I see them straight on, just like if I was looking at you, I would see your hair color, your eye color. That's the same way I see a ghost. I know people see them as mists and shadows and streaks of lightning, orbs, which are ones that crossed over. My daughter that can do this, she never wanted to see them with her eyes. She would just always see him in her head through her third eye, and she would make the bright white light in somebody's house, and in her head watch the spirit walk into the light. As soon as the spirit was in the light, she'd hear this huge pop, and her headache would be gone. It's like, hon, it would be a lot easier if you just look at him with your eyeballs instead of your brain. But there you go. No two people butter toast the same way. I didn't do anything like my grandmother did, and my daughter's not doing anything like I do. So
who wants to be like their mom when they know it all, right?
That's exactly right.
Tara, but I get
no. And whether they're 10 or 50, it's never going to change.
Tom wants to know if you think you'll be back to doing home visits, at all, which I'm sure you will, but just.
I will, and I'm actually picking and choosing now because the yellow legal pad stack on my desk is huge. So I will be doing houses. I am starting to do some now, but I won't do houses where there's any children. And usually anybody that lived in the house could be there, and I'm down to 2 people at the most. And I'll sit at your kitchen table, and you have to sit in your living room, and I'll yell at you and tell you what's going on, because I don't want to be very close to anybody. So, but, I'm trying to work around it, because when it finally opens up, there's no way I can do them all. So I'm trying to do some. Plus, I'm going stir crazy in the house. Plus, people are angry at me because when I do call them back, they'll go, well, what could sneak you in? No, I'm not sneaking in anywhere. So, yeah, I will be eventually doing them again.
All right. Patrick asks, do ghosts get more powerful by sucking in more energy? Is there a limit to the amount that they can take?
They will take every drop that they can get and create problems in the house so they get even more. No, I refer to them sometimes as energy vampires. They just suck the energy out of you. But that's what they need to do to survive, or to be and move around and do the troubles that they do. So they know they need your energy. That's why they like malls and stadiums and theaters. And guess what? Theaters are closed now. Stadiums I can't see anybody getting anything out of the stadium anymore, because, there's a crowd, but you're not together. So where are they going to go? In your house.
Mm, right. So it's kind of like, what is it? Highlander.
Right, exactly right. You
You're
got
going to
it.
be the only one.
Right.
Well, and that's what you have said before in some previous chats, that because of that, you're not going to find a whole bunch of ghosts on the same floor of the house, or, in the same hotel room, or right, because there's only so much to go around coming out of us.
Right.
So,
Plus, I'm not sure what it is. There, I know a lot of things, but there's probably 10,000 more things that I don't know. And all I know is that when they are in, whether they're close to one another, it affects their energy somehow. And that's the main reason why they say stay pretty far away. And of course, there's always the exception of children. Children, ghosts do hang out together, just like regular kids do. They're not any different. So, there's always an exception, but the adults, not so much. They'll stay pretty far away from one another. Even when I go and do a house and I'm sitting down, one will come in from the dining room, one will come in from the basement. They're across the room from each other, but thank goodness I don't have to go through houses anymore and try to find them. Uh, that got real old. So, but they still stay across the room. They do not go into the light together. They go in separately. And then every now and then I get a smarty pants that says, well, I'm not going in with him. I don't like him. So I have to make two lights so they can each have their own light to go in. Hey, anything to cross them over. I don't care.
so perfect follow up. Rhonda asks about how many ghosts are there compared to the living in an area. So, do you find that there's kind of like a standard ratio?
If you have two adults, live adults in a house, and they're pretty active adults, not couch potatoes, you could have easily two in, maybe a third one in and out on occasion. But if only one of you, say, is a type A personality and the other one isn't, you're probably only going to have one. But again, that doesn't mean somebody isn't going to come in and out once or twice a week just to see what's going on. Think about it this way. In everybody's neighborhood, especially when it's in some kind of a development where there's houses on both sides of the street, there's always a nosy neighbor that always wants to know everything. You want to know something? Go ask Gladys. She knows. And if she doesn't, she'll find out. So, but there's ghosts that are the same way. They're so nosy. They'll just pop in this house, go across the street, and pop in that house.
Mhm.
So, but they're not staying in your house 24/7. If you had more earthbound spirits in your house than adults, every living person in that house would be like a wet noodle. You wouldn't be able to get out of bed in the morning.
So Patrick has a question. Says, can ghosts die? Like, what happens if they don't take in any energy? Like, what would happen?
Okay, and that's what happens when you smudge. It makes them very lethargic, very laid back, and they're already dead. Their body is dead. The spirit does not die. It just has to go somewhere, either heaven, hell, or whatever you perceive that to be. So when you smudge, they just sort of get real lethargic, sort of stand around like a broom in a broom closet. They really don't do anything. They don't have the energy to do it. And because of the smudging, they can't get the energy to do it. That's why smudging works so well.
Hmm.
But on the other hand, there are people that died in the 1800s, 1900s, and they ended up in a house maybe in the early 1900s, and they've never, maybe it was their first house and they were fine. And then people moved in and out, they never acted up, they just never took really any energy until the homeowner decided to take down her kitchen wall. And now we're going to have an issue. So, but they can sort of go dormant on their own. They do not die.
Mm. So our next question, do ghosts create depression in people if they're in your house long term? If you can't get them out of your house, how do you shield yourself from being affected?
Okay. Yes, ghosts can cause serious depression anxiety, panic attacks, all of that. And if you're being treated for any of those things and you're on some kind of meds and you have earthbound spirits in the house, your meds are not working. Your doctor is saying you need to take more, or gee, we need to change the prescription, you need stronger ones. So they absolutely do affect you. And I hate to keep harping on smudging, but smudging really does work. The other thing that you can do is seriously wear one of the ghost charms, and if you've got that charm on you, they can't get closer than 3.5, 4 feet to you, and you will see a huge difference. When I clear a house, the seeds are on the doors, so you don't have to worry about keeping the charm on you because that's a secure place. But if you leave the house, you have to have a seed on you. But if you don't have your house cleared and you're having these kind of issues, you really want to wear a quincy charm because that will keep it away. And unfortunately, the only way you can get a plain seed is when I do your house. Otherwise, they have to be, gotten from one of the go to the website, and there's all kinds of price ranges in that. But that would be my best suggestion, especially if you're having serious problems like that.
And oh, here we go. Jules says her mom's apartment is protected by the quince, but now sees dead relatives and white wispies. She's wondering, can those be angels? Her mom is 94 and declining in health.
You are absolutely correct, Jules. That's exactly what she's doing. That does not mean she's going to be dying soon, so don't go to that end. But relatives start showing up and friends start showing up. And in the beginning, I think it concerns the person that's seeing them because they don't understand what's going on. But eventually, it makes them feel better when they start seeing, husbands or parents, or, your mom is 94 years old, but I bet she would be thrilled to death if she saw her mother.
Mm.
So, look at it that way. The other thing that you might want to check, and I very strange. This is going to sound strange, but if you've got an older relative that you're taking care of, when they have UTIs, they can imagine all kinds of things. And unfortunately, when we're younger and you get a UTI, you know it. But when you get to some age, which I haven't figured out what that age is yet, when they have a UTI, they don't know it. And so it can really play with their mind. So a lot of times when somebody calls about a mom, 94, 95 years old, I will tell them, take them to a med center first to make sure they don't have a UTI, because if they do and it can be cleared, they don't see anything anymore. So you've got a couple things there that you can do.
All right, we put your website across the screen there. So if anybody wants to go order a charm, there's Marianne's website. Our next question comes from Andrew, who says that when he hears about big famous hauntings, oftentimes there's issues with the basements being very active. Is there any truth to that, or reasons for basements to be more active than other areas of the buildings?
Okay, people do not like basements, even if they're finished basements. Don't you remember when you were a little kid and your mother sent you downstairs in the basement to get something? What did you do? Hum, whistle all the way down and all the way up so it wouldn't get you? As an adult, that doesn't change too much. Now, if you're down there doing laundry or you've got your workout room down there, some people have offices down there, the ghost is definitely going to be down there with you. But if you're upstairs on the first or the second level, they're not going to get any energy sitting down there in the basement. And as far as these reality TV shows go, they're going to shoot it in the basement because it's scary looking. Those of you who have done your house, I could probably count on one hand houses that I did at night. I go out when it's daylight to a house. Why are all these houses done in the middle of the night? To give it effect. So no, take reality TV shows like that with a grain of salt. There's probably some truth to them, but it's just the basements are creepy and it's easy to scare us down in the basement. That's all that is.
Right. Um, so Carla wants to know if she's got a ghost in her house that is attached to her. But that's a good point to bring up about, excuse me, the Zoom sessions that we do, because that's where Marianne will answer that question for you. In this format here, obviously you can see us, we cannot see you. So Marianne cannot look into your house to see what's going on. With the Zoom session, which is what, November 20th, 7:30 to 9, each person, because we limit it to 30 people, will get to ask 2 questions. One of which can be, do I have ghosts in my house? Is there a portal in my house? Am I cursed? And Marianne will answer, 2 of those 3 questions for you, but you will have to have your camera on when it's your turn to speak with her so she can see. Even if you're sitting in front of a white wall, trying to trick the ghost lady, doesn't matter.
Not usually. Yeah, right.
So unfortunately, Marianne can't answer, a personal specific question right now about ghosts in your house because she can't see into it. But can answer other types of questions for you today, like the differences between earthbound, those that have crossed over. Any questions you might have about orbs, what a good orb looks like versus dust or a little bitty bug flying around, which to me, those seem to be pretty obvious. But I've been into some paranormal groups on Facebook, and the constant upload of these videos, like, look what I caught. And I'm like, you can literally see the wings. Like, it's a bug.
Right. Or the one I heard, he was talking to his buddy, Ghostbuster pal, and he says to his Ghostbuster pal, there's a ghost in the next room. Let's sneak up on it. Somebody needs to tell me how you sneak up on a ghost. I would really like to know that.
They can't hear you if you whisper, right?
Well, I'd like to know how they can sneak up on a ghost. I really want to know how they can do that.
Those shows. I remember when a lot of them first came out, I was like, ooh. And then over time, I'm just like, really? Even my son was really enamored with them for a while. And now he's just like, eh.
Well, he's got a mom that knows better. You're not encouraging it. Come on.
I'm like, you want to go outside to the bike path and walk on that, because
that's right.
There's plenty out there. Let's see. Lindsay wants to know if you do private sessions, which we've talked about how you'll be back to doing houses. You haven't really decided to do private Zoom.
Oh, no. I can assure you that won't be happening. Because even if we did a private Zoom, I still wouldn't be able to get rid of it. So it would be a waste of your time and my time. So no. I would never do a private Zoom. I know that's a no for sure right now. So
right. So, the reason why somebody would want to jump on, like the ones that we're doing, especially if you live out of state and maybe you don't have somebody in your area that can tell you definitively. So granted, Marianne can't clear the ghost over Zoom, but if you're just really curious, want to make sure, is it really happening versus am I freaking myself out, making mounds out of molehills? If there's little kids involved. And that's the thing, your wait list is what, like weeks out, probably getting close to a couple months now because of COVID. And
about 9-10 weeks out now. Yeah. And at least if you come on Zoom, you'll know one way or the other, and you can start trying to do stuff, smudge or have the house blessed or whatever. But yeah, no, Zoom just helps you find out faster. And people that don't have a ghost in their house, but maybe just a portal, obviously I can't close a portal on Zoom, but I could tell you what to do so that nobody ever comes out of the portal. It's not closing it, it's putting a Band-Aid on it, but it works.
Right. We'll put up a quick little thing here for Zoom, because I'm getting messages about how to sign up for that. And we limit that to only 30 people. So everybody gets a chance to ask their questions. It's listed like 7:30 to 9, but we go longer to make
Way
sure.
longer a lot of times so that everybody can get their questions. There,
Yeah.
Ted just got something on his or Facebook. I don't know because I don't look at that. Somebody from England wanted to know how they get on it and the time difference. I have no idea. That's something they're going to have to figure out because we say what time it is, and they're just going to have to figure out how to do that. But we've had people from Australia, Germany. We've had some good people come on. Canada, Canadians come on frequently. So, but at least they're in the same continent. But it's cool getting some from other places. It's nice.
Well, and it's always interesting. Like I always wonder in the beginning, like, do spirits in certain countries, like, are there ways of haunting slightly different than like what an American spirit would do? You know?
Yes, it's really odd when I started getting popular, more so after Ghost Whisperers started. So that would have been mid 2000s. Um, a travel agency contacted me and they said, we want, how they get these tours together and go all over everywhere. Well, if you can get, we're going to put you out there. We're going to do ghost tours through England and the castles and all of this stuff. And so, and if we can get enough people, you and your husband are going to be able to go for free. It's always a hook. So anyway, so I says, I don't know about that. And he said, well, I'm going to get hold of the hotels now, the castles, and see if they'd be willing to sponsor us or have you come in and all of this. Not one castle, not one castle wanted me anywhere near their property. They make money on their ghosts. And they have the ghosts that are called reoccurring ghosts, where they will walk the halls the same time at 2 o'clock in the morning and rattle the chains. They've been doing that for centuries. They're going to keep on doing that. So, no, they do not want me there. So that went nowhere. And I don't even know. I guess I'd have to think about that. I don't even know if I went to England and went into a castle that I would even want to do anything with the ghosts there. Because I can tell them or make the light for them, but I think it's probably their job and they wouldn't go anyway. So.
Right. Well, especially so the reoccurring, like the ones that you hear that look like just the videotape that plays over and over and over again. Is there now some of these TV shows will say that they're not fully aware. It's not like their conscience, it's then I've wondered, do they know what they're doing? And
Absolutely, they know what they're doing.
so you could get them to go ahead and cross over.
Of course I could. It's like Native American Indians. Very few Native American Indians cross over because their job is to protect the earth. So very few actually go into the light. But no, and the ghosts, like I said, in castles that are haunting them, it's like that's their job. I'm going to bet many of them lived in those castles centuries ago. Some of those that one was built in 1200s. Can you imagine the centuries of ghosts being around there? And so no, and it's like people, well, they don't know they're dead. How do you not look at your body laying someplace with your spirit out and not know you're dead? I've never understood that sentence. I mean, you're standing at the foot of the casket looking at your body in the casket. Gee, you think I'm dead? Yeah, I think so. You're not in there, are you? So I've never agreed with that sentence either because I just don't think that's true.
Cool. Like I've always wondered,
Yeah.
was a whole different type of dimension playing, or was it?
It's history. I think it's really history. Don't you wonder? I would love to know if, like, Lizzie Borden is still hanging out somewhere, or her parents that she's axed to death. They're probably in the same area. I don't even know if that house is still. I know Anne Frank's house in Germany is. So some of those houses they've kept, But, people like that, maybe she's hanging out and having a good time. I don't know.
I mean, she would have the perfect scare house because, at one point, I think it was redone to be like an Airbnb.
Really?
Mhm.
Oh, wow.
You could go stay, there. And I think the couch that the father was on, like in that living room or that den area, like they had like reupholstered and tried to match the fabric, and you could like sit on the couch and
And if she's still earthbound, she's having a ball.
oh yeah, like it's perfect for her.
Right, right. And thank God she can't kill anybody anymore, but still.
She's having a smorgasbord,
That's right.
So Gina's question is that she's curious that when you first met Ted, did you notice if he had any earthbound attachments on him? And if so, did you remove them right away?
No, he did not have anything attached to him. He had just come back from Vietnam, and no, not at all. I won't say that was quite true of one of his close relatives that I'm going to be doing this life over again with at some point. But but fix that though too. But no, as a matter of fact, our oldest daughter was born before I even told him I could do this because I didn't want him to think he was married to a nut.
I sometimes, when you're doing your live events and Ted and I are sitting in the back, and sometimes I'll say like his point of some of the stories, his visual point is in a way just hilarious. Having, that husband's perspective watching, and he says it with such a straight face. I'm like,
Yeah,
do a book.
That's for sure.
Let's see. Okay, reading comments. So Debbie says that you were out at her house and closed up 2 portals. Since then, she's moved. She used to see her husband when he passed away when he was 40. Since she's moved, she has not seen him.
See, okay, I did have season.
Yeah.
See, I don't know, was he earthbound when I came to your house, or are you not seeing him now that he's gone to the light? See, I'm not sure what your question is. And if you moved, I did have seeds in my house. I went, took them, put them in my purse. Oh, okay, so I'm not going to scold you for not taking the seeds. Yeah, you're going to have to call and leave a message. And in this case, because I've done work for you, if the house is clear, I will just send you out new seeds for your new house. So, I try to accommodate, but I will do that for you. But get hold of me though. Let's make sure your house is clear now. And I don't know if is it you haven't dreamt of him? You would see them, in a dream if he's crossed over. And I can't believe I would have left your house with him wandering around. So I'm not quite sure what's going on here.
Yeah, and I put your Marianne's website back up because on her website is the phone number.
Correct.
To call and leave a message. And Marianne, what is it? You say if they don't hear back from you within like so many weeks to call again, because if they're
if I haven't gotten back to you in 6 weeks, leave another message or take your cell phone and go stand on your porch or your front steps and make the call from there. Because if you've got something in your house and they know you're calling me, or you say to your spouse, I'm going to give that Marianne a call again. Well, if the ghost is standing right there, they hear you. I'm not going to get that message. So don't announce to somebody, I'm going outside to call Marianne, because the ghost will just follow you right out there. So don't do that. So
me too.
Oh, here we go. Let's get some fresh air and listen to what she's not going to say. So, but try to call from outside on the step, and that may make a difference. There was apparently been a lady that my daughter did years ago before she moved to Colorado. And she apparently left 4 messages on my machine I never got them because I do take my messages off. And she left a message 2 days ago. She says, "I'm sorry, I am not calling you from my house. I'm calling you from I'm driving and I'm calling you on in from my car." She says, "I've left 4 messages. I got a brand new baby. I really need some help. Remodeling, all the seeds are gone." I never got one of those messages.
Even the one from the car?
How I got, but the
Okay.
other ones I didn't. So there I am, going through all the yellow legal pads trying to see if I could find her name someplace. No, I never got anything from her. So she will go because of babies, the kids. She'll pretty much go to the top of the list now. And let's take care of her because ghosts that mess with kids or animals make me crazy. So
So you do get bumped up if you have little ones having issues. And I mean, and rightly so. I mean,
yeah, not kids. If when I hear my in 2 weeks my son's going in to have tubes put in his ears. No, 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 no. If I can get there before he has to have the tubes put in the ears and clear the house, they never have to have the tubes put in their ears. If they've got those breathing machines and pumping things that they have to use, if there's ghosts in the house and the house can be cleared, the kids never have to use them again. And this is a good example of the one that's going to air at noon on Friday on Channel 3. A 3.5-year-old little girl saw this man rocking in a rocking chair, and she was scared of him. And there was a little boy there too that was very upset with her that she wouldn't play with him. Well, he was a little bully, and she didn't want to play with him. So when she would be sleeping, he'd walk over and kick the bed so it would jerk and scare her. So yeah, something like that. You're going to go at the top of the list.
right. So Peter has a question. He has done some work on adult film sets and said that they had seen a lot of stuff going on. Now, I would imagine that is just a perfect acting set, acting set
Acting. You got it.
for them to get a lot of energy off.
Yes, exactly. Ghost Whisper always at this because I can't tell you how many of the sets I was on when it was filming for the show. And absolutely, there was the one day when the first year of the show, there was a lot of people that wanted interviews with us for their talking head shows and what have you. So there was a crew following us around. And I came around the corner in this one warehouse where her bedroom was, because these rooms are built in a big warehouse. I mean, they're not obviously in a house. I think the kitchen was in this warehouse and the bedroom. And came around the corner, and I just stood. I just could not believe it. Um, there was, and I could not remember her name. I came around that corner and I said, "Oh my God, there's Victoria Barkley from the Big Valley." And it was Ted. Who was that? Who's Victoria? Barbara Stanwyck. I still can't remember her name. So it was actually Barbara Stanwyck standing there. So there were old movie time actors and actresses on some of the sets. And ones like her that did shows in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, 70s, I got to tell you that she was pretty disgusted the way television was going now. She couldn't believe how, and I believe she used the word risque. And I mean, years ago, I don't think Lucy and Desi even had the same bed. They had twin beds, and it was a big scandal with "I Dream of Jeannie" because her belly button was going to show.
Oh, and it wasn't even hers.
Exactly. So I mean, times have changed so much. But you are right. There are all kinds. I think it was Three Men and a Baby. There was supposed to be a man standing behind the curtain. You could see his shoes. And I don't know if that was the one where he was apparently holding a rifle, but they got it on film and you could go back and you could see it. It was there. So yeah, anything where there's so much activity like that, there's going to be a lot of earthbound spirits. And that's California on top of it. And California ghosts are really unique. They're really unique. Let's leave it at that. So
Well, they're special.
they are very special and they know it.
So Rhonda says that she has unfortunately lost 4 pets, 3 bunnies and a cat to make up the 4, a few months apart with no illness or warning. And she's wondering if there is negative energy that could be maybe be causing this or, helping.
Okay, earthbound spirits in a house. Yes, your pets are going to feel it too. Obviously, they're not going to get very much energy from a 12, 13, 14-pound cat. You got a 90-pound St. Bernard. Oh, yeah, your St. Bernard's going to feel it. So the bigger the animal, the more energy they're going to get from them. Earthbound spirits, if they did not like animals when they were alive, they are not going to like animals when they're dead. And I have been in more than one house, and I'm not saying this happened in your house because I don't know, but it has happened in more than one house where the earthbound spirit caused the animal's death. Didn't kill them, but caused their death. Opened the front door, let the dog out because it should have been left out the back door where the fenced in yard was, let them out the front door, they got hit by a car and died. That's just one example. So I have no way of knowing if an earthbound spirit did that. Negative energy is going to affect the living in the house, not so much the animals in the house. So if something happened in your house that close together, I would almost think it's an earthbound spirit. But again, without a call or Zoom, I don't know.
Right. And we'll put the banner back up for the Zoom real quick. Let's see, because I know like when you were out at my house for me, and I kind of have the mentality, you can mess with me, I'll ignore you, but you don't mess with my son or my fat black cat. And my son was visiting his father. So, my poor cat was getting tossed down the basement stairs and the door shut on him. And this was a door that you had to really like hip check it open. And, and he was licking himself bald. He was so distressed with all of this. So in order to get the rise out of me,
That's with my cat.
Yeah, went after my poor, my poor lovable fat black cat who.
I mean, they'll lock them in a closet. People will come home and the dog, a 40-pound dog, is smashed between the washer and the dryer trying to get away from somebody. If you crate your animals, which we show dogs, I had a grooming shop, I believe in crates. A lot of people don't, that's fine. But if you crate your dog and they don't like the dog, they're going to walk over and literally rattle that cage. So it can absolutely, they can be mean. If your dog, your cat won't go down the basement unless you go down and maybe they'll follow you. There's a reason, because a lot of ghosts will stand at the bottom of the steps, and when they start seeing the dog or the cat come down, they'll rah, 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 and scare them. Or your dog sleeps with you at night, and all of a sudden at 2:00 in the morning, you hear this, and he's looking at the hallway, hair up on his back, and he's growling. Yeah, he's probably seeing somebody.
Mm-hmm. So Elizabeth Marie, we have lots of respiratory issues with our 18-month. One already had tubes and adenoids out. Frank confirmed that we have a friendly spirit. Is respiratory issues always a sign of an unfriendly?
Earthbound spirits are never friendly spirits. They're friendly in as much as maybe they're a relative or a friend. But even if it was your mother that died and didn't cross over, if she's standing in your house, she is still going to be an energy drain. She's not doing it on purpose. She can't help it. That is why 99% of the time when I clear a house, the homeowner does not know who the ghost is. because your friends or your relatives wouldn't do this to you. So I'm sure you do have friendly ghosts in the house. You have your guardian angel, you have your spirit guides, you have your great grandma Rose that comes to visit. Those would not cause the problems with the kids.
Mhm.
Earthbound spirits would. So I've had people say, well, I just want you to come and get rid of the bad ones, leave the good ones. Nah, no, I'm not coming at all. Either they all go or you can keep them all, because how can I pick and choose who stays? I can't do that. So get your priorities straight. If you've got kids that are sick, it is not a friendly ghost.
Um, so Laura says that she was on the Zoom in August and she's been using Sage, but it seems to be working with her son now. She lives in Ohio. Um, so she would still call that same phone number.
Ohio, the phone number says it's for people who live outside. No, there's two lines. If you live in Ohio, you leave a message, and if you live outside of Ohio, you push one or two or something, and it goes to that box. So you re-listen to the message. You're not hearing it correct. But yeah, definitely leave a message. But it seems to be worse with my son now. Huh. Okay, yeah, let's check it out. See what's going on.
And are you saging everywhere? Getting everywhere? That's usually kind of a thing that, like, after people have come in and they always say, well, it doesn't seem to be working, and I'm like, are you getting the attics, the basements, the attach? Well, no, we didn't go out. And I'm like, you are Orkin man, wherever you don't go, the critters are going to go wait you out and come right back through.
It's such a waste of time and money doing it if you don't do it right, and do it as often as you're supposed to. That smoke will only affect that earthbound spirit for about 13 or 14 days, which means by the 10th, 11th, or 12th, they start getting their energy back. So I suggest you do it at least every 12 days. Or if nothing else, on a full moon and a new moon. They're 2 weeks apart. Something to remind you that you need to do it, because they're just going to pop right back in again.
Mm-hmm. And leaving your doors and windows closed. Well, yes, there's this, I guess, one half of the fence that says, leave your doors and windows open so the negative energy can leave. If you keep your doors and windows in, it's trapped. Well, if the smoke is doing the work for you and you got your doors and windows open and it's going right outside, you're doing nothing but wasting your time.
That's exactly right. There was one not too long ago that you have to go under a full moon and spin 3 times before you smudge. Why? And so that means you can only, unless it's October, that means you can only smudge once a month on a full moon. No. Do it the right way.
Yeah, there's still issues in the little boy's room. So definitely call Marianne again. Get that taken care of. Let's see. Can earthbound spirits transport themselves to any place they wish?
Any place they wish at all. It doesn't make any difference, which is one of the things I've never understood, because if I choose not to go to the light when I die, which I will not do, but if I were to choose to do that, why would I hang out in somebody's house? I'd go scooping through Paris and Rome and the Grand Canyon and all the places I could go. I'd go see what George Clooney looks like in his house. Why would I stay in somebody's house? Never understood that. But if you think about it, people, we're creatures, a habit. We don't go scooping through the Grand Canyon or going to Paris when we're alive, so I guess you don't do it when you're dead either. But yes, you're pure energy. They don't need a plane, but they do ride on planes because people are scared to death to ride on a plane. So yeah, but they can. I have many stories where I'm talking to somebody here in Cleveland and they're talking about their sister in California, and a blink of an eye, and she gets her sister on a three-way call, and now I see the same ghost in her sister's house. That fast. Cleveland and Monterey, California. It can easily be done.
All the gas you could save getting to
Oh,
work
I know.
drive. I mean, I like my car, don't get me wrong, but if I didn't have to drive it, that would be great.
Yeah, right.
It would be fantastic. So maybe one of our last questions here. Patrick asks, are orbs and videos the same for people who crossed over in earthbound spirits? So maybe do they look the same?
The orbs are still round. They can be any color. They can be sparkly or not. They can be little. They can be bitty. If there's a design in the middle of the orb, that is a spirit that has crossed over and is back for a visit. If you can enlarge that picture, if it was taken on something that was electronic, then you can usually see a face of who it is or a side profile. If the orb is blank, it's a dust particle. It's nothing. Or a bug on the lens, like Melissa said. Sometimes that's what it could be too. So, but no, orbs are good. You want orbs in pictures. If you talk to professional photographers that do weddings, when we had weddings, one of the biggest things that they've got with the problem with when they're going through to get pictures to show the new husband and wife are removing orbs, because relatives that crossed over love weddings, baptisms, holy communions. They're not going to miss anything like that. So no, orbs are good. Don't ever think orbs are bad. They are never, never, never bad.
Mm. Jess wants to know if any indoor plants can cause earthbound spirits to become lethargic, just having the growing plants around.
Not that I know of. I don't, I really don't have any answer to that. I do know that a lot of people that came over from Europe when they settled in this, in this Cleveland area long, long, long time ago, in their little pockets of Italians and Polish and Irish. A lot of these people have quince bushes planted in their yards, which I think is very interesting, because this is probably knowledge that they brought with them, because that's what I give you to put over your doors. But as far as in the house, I don't know of any. Do you know of anything, Melissa, in the house?
No, I mean, I've read where like succulents or aloe plants, because they have the spiky leaves, like it's supposed to help ward away negative energy that might come in, but not necessarily earthbound spirits, just, kind of an energy come in. But I don't remember reading anything about any plants that will.
No, I've never heard anything like that. That's interesting. I mean, I know, well, aloe's good for burns. You break it off and use it for that, for cuts, but I don't, I know that, and I don't know what the actual name of the plant is, that those really tall, spiky things, that their nickname is mother-in-law's tongues. And I know that somebody said, well, I've got mother-in-law's tongues all over, so, I'm good. And I'm thinking, okay. I had no idea what she was talking about. So maybe those, I don't really know. Something else to try to figure out.
Right. Well, it might be a late night, like I'm bored. What should I do? I'm going to look up this.
Yeah, right. See what's going on.
Because that's sometimes how my mind works in the middle of the night when I can't.
Right.
All right. So we are almost at 11. So Marianne's website, if you need to order a quince seed, or if you need a phone number to call Marianne, all of which can be found on her website. So Marianne, your seeds, they are not sterling. They're no, you have sterling.
Oh yeah, we have or gold tone or zipper pulls or ones that are in resin. The resin ones, they're all pretty, and there's like 14 different moons, the Italian hand, peppers. They're angels, crosses, you name it. There's all kinds. The clear plastic ones, they look like clear plastic. They're resin. You can actually see the quincy in that. Those are pretty cool. But a lot of people don't like to wear those because well, what is that? And nobody wants to say what they are. If you like it that much, just tell them it's for good luck. I mean, and actually, you're not lying because it's good luck to keep any ghost away from you. So, but just, look at that. There's all kinds on there. And just, see which ones you like. They make great Christmas gifts, especially if you have kids that are going away to college someplace, if your kids are lucky to get out of the house and do it. And so, and dorms are full. So that would be a good gift for them. But, and I'll be in the store again in December. I was there this past Saturday and there was a nice turnout. Saw a lot of nice people. And of course, didn't recognize half of them because of the mask, but that's okay. And, but Ted and I'll be there again December, whatever. It'll be on
13th, maybe.
I don't know. It's a Saturday. I don't remember, but it'll be on the website or something. And,
our Facebook list of events.
Right. And the new YouTube comes out today at 5:30. I taped that yesterday. So there's actually a letter there from somebody from Sri Lanka.
Oh, how fun.
I know. Another couple more from Australia. I'm so excited when I see those.
There is a question about not being able to ship to Australia.
Anytime we try to send anything out of the country, the people don't get it. I don't know if the post offices in their countries or they open them up, or heavens, I would never send a smudge stick out of the country, believe me, because I know you wouldn't get that. What people are doing if they live, in a different country is, if you've got friends or relatives in this country, have them buy it and have them ship it in a box to you with other stuff. That's unfortunately the only way I can get a quincy to you. Otherwise, it's being stolen and I can't get them to you.
Sabrina's quick question about quincy, if they impact mediumship abilities, that she's working on developing her mediumship and wants to make sure it wouldn't affect that. And that's because it's two different types of communication going on there.
If a medium is using a guide from the light and you have a quincy on, it is not going to affect anything. And if you're a medium, that is who you want to be getting information from. If there is an earthbound spirit around you giving you information, why do they know anything? I mean, so in my opinion, you would definitely want to wear a quincy to keep the earthbound ones away from you so that your readings are accurate. Now, I can understand somebody comes up to you and their father is with them and they are still earthbound. You're, especially nowadays, you're at least sitting 4 feet away from that person. So even if you had a seed on you, you would still be able to get the information. So I guess you're going to have to weigh which way you want to go with that. I don't know. What's your opinion on that, Melissa? I don't really know.
I would, most mediums.
Well, you wear a seed. Do you have a problem?
No, but I've only ever, had more working with those that have crossed over anyway. And the only time I ever seen anything earthbound was I was so exhausted that I ran myself down and any walls and everything came down. And that was the only time I saw that creepy jerk that was hanging around the house. And I would only catch like parts of his clothing as he went by.
But he wasn't close to you. He was 3.5, 4 feet away from you. So you were still able to see him.
Yeah.
Which is what I'm saying. It's not going to stop you from seeing them. They're just not going to be right in your face.
Which, and I got on a tangent, but most readers that I work with. They say after a long day of doing spiritual work anyway, even if it's just doing readings, they're tired because it's a lot of processing and information and keeping your sacred space. That if the work itself is going to tire you out, the last thing you need is an earthbound hanging around, draining more energy off of you, let alone your clients, because you kind of also have that responsibility to keep your clients safe as well. They're coming for a message, some sort of healing, even if it's just a confirmation and a message. The last thing they need is earthbound spirit deciding to follow them home because this guy was a creeper in life and you've got a pretty client. Now he's going to go home with her, So, definitely that would be something to keep in your toolkit to keep yourself from being drained and to kind of protect that client that you have, because that's part of your responsibility when you're working with the public.
When I do houses and people either do Reiki or any kind of massage therapy or anything where they've got people like on a table doing energy work on them, I always give them a seed to put under the table so that the work that they're doing on that client on the table, they are doing on that client and they're getting the whole benefit of it, not with the ghost right there. So again, I say yes, wear one, but you have to make your own decision.
Right. Exactly. Well, and just as like the little tangent, like you have, we've got your seeds around the store, plus, other, healing things that we put in the grid. So, when people are coming in, most people are like, oh, it feels so nice in here. It feels. And I'm like, well, yeah, because there's multiple barriers. So if somebody happens to be in and they're like, oh, it feels heavy. And I'm like, is it you?
And that would be a person, right. And if somebody feels heaviness, that would be a person that has negative energy on them, not a ghost attached to them because it can't come in because of the store being protected. It's like when I was there last week. Oh, do I have anything attached to me? Gee, maybe it's somebody, but I don't know because the store's protected. They're probably out in the car waiting for you. I don't know because I can't see that far into your car. So, but in at least anybody that does readings at your store, those people don't have any earthbound spirits around them because they can't get in. But
Right.
not everybody reads at your store. They read in various places. So
Right. So it's it's something that could take into consideration, Sabrina, when you're, I don't know if you're working for the public yet or just kind of practicing for yourself, but there is kind of like this, I guess, ethics when you're working for people and, they're coming to you, they're trusting you, and they're coming in a place of vulnerability. And it's kind of your job then to not only protect yourself, but your client as well.
that's right. That's exactly right.
How you choose to address that, that's your choice, be it the Quinn seed or something else. But
at least learn how to put the white light around yourself. Do something do some kind of protection.
mm-hmm.
Especially if you do readings in your house. Especially that way.
Right. Which I don't know, me personally, like I wouldn't want everybody knowing where I lived. I want my house to be my safe place. I've even gone so far as like my personal Facebook, like you can't find me unless you're already a friend or something, just because it's like, I want my downtime and I want my privacy and,
This is interesting. I got a phone call from a lady a couple of weeks ago and she said, are you going to be home tomorrow? And I said, yeah. And she says, well, there's going to be delivery around noon. I said, no. I said, I have a post office box and they don't accept deliveries at the post office box. She goes, oh, no, I have your address. I said, why do you have my address? She says, I can tell you really don't touch a computer because if you did, you can find anything on a computer.
mm-hmm.
I went, oh, great. This is wonderful. So I think, well, we'll just see. And noon the next day, 10 to 12, somebody's knocking at the front door. There's a guy with a big bouquet of flowers. And I had said to her, when she called, I said, why are you sending something here? She says, oh, it'll be on the note. I said, all right. Last month or this month, the law of abundance peaked at 3:30 in the afternoon. 3:31, something like that. She wrote out her law of abundance check. 2 hours later, she went to buy a lottery ticket, and she won $20,000.
Oh, how fun.
So she sent me flowers because she won $20,000. And that was terrific. But in the back of my head, it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, okay.
That's why I have a Google number for my cell phone that if I ever have to make a work call, I'm using a Google number to call.
Oh gosh. See, you're a computer person.
It's like,
Not me. Yeah.
I'm really taking my time more valuable now. Where I'm like, when I'm done, I'm done. And I don't want to be answering work questions at 11:30 at night. Like,
Right. No, you're right. You're right. Believe me, I don't hear the phone ring after 10 o'clock at night, and it doesn't start ringing again till 7 o'clock in the morning. And lately, they get up in the morning and check voicemail, and there's sometimes 7 or 8 new calls overnight. And what I could do for anybody in the middle of the night except be really angry, I don't know, because that wouldn't make me happy. So,
haven't even had my coffee yet, guys. Come on.
that's right. Leave me alone.
All right. Well, now that we went off on a way tangent.
Yeah, way tangent. Okay.
So we will be back next Wednesday at 10 a.m. doing
Right.
more live question and answers about earthbound spirits, and not quite the law of abundance on the next one yet.
No. But
no,
we got time.
We can answer them, but we look forward to seeing everybody next Wednesday at 10 a.m. If you want to sign up for the Zoom on November 20th, it's a Friday night. It'll be the best, most legal Friday night fun you've probably ever had. We could be biased, but
Like I said, people get on it because it's better than Friday night TV. So
yes. So only 30 people allowed. I think we're right around half. We're at 14, 15 already. So
we do already? Oh, okay. Good.
Yeah. So get your spot before they're gone. You'll get to ask your questions, and that's where Marianne will answer if you have ghosts in your house. So, which we can't do during these. We can answer all the other fun questions. But thanks for joining us, everybody. And we look forward to hopefully seeing you next Wednesday at 10 a.m.
Happy Halloween and be safe.
Oh, yeah. Halloween. Yay.